Hi everybody, I'm Dr. John Douillard. Welcome to lifespa.com, and today I want to talk about Kapha season, springtime. What is the major premise and purpose of the Kapha springtime season? And it's basically in nature to clean out that liver of ours, to decongest our liver and decongest our gallbladder, decongest our bile ducts, and get our bile to really flow more effectively. And this is very apparent in nature. In nature, the deer at this time are digging up your garden, digging up your lawn, and digging up the dandelion roots and the burdock roots and the Oregon grape, and they're digging these very bitter roots up. And what these bitter roots do in the spring is they clean out all the little villi of your intestinal tract. You know, it gets congested from all the winter pastas and apple pie and holiday food and all that heavy food from winter where we ate a bunch in the fall to store for the winter, and now it's time to clean house. In addition to being a time of year where we're eating these bitter foods, Ayurveda says we should eat bitter, astringent, and pungent foods, so spicy foods and bitter foods like leafy greens, so spring greens, and the roots, the pungent roots, they're really, really important to clean out the villi. And that's such a beautiful time of year, and it's really important for us to realize that's what's happening. It's nature's new year. We're going to start by scrubbing our intestinal tract clean from top to bottom. So the first step is the bitter roots, which are really important. I love taking herbs like kutki and herbs like picariza, which is kutki, and barberry and berberine, and all these roots that are really important. Ayurveda has one called Blumayamyalaki. There's so many really cool roots that we get in the spring, including dandelions or dandelion greens are also really, really great. You can get locally, but get those as part of your diet this time of the year. Then those fluorescent greens come out of the ground. And now we have this kind of very rich, chlorophyll-rich, hyper micronutrient-rich foods that are popping out of the ground. And those, we eat those, and they help to fertilize the gut with good new bacteria. Remember, in the spring, there's a microbial surge that's flooding the ground and the soil. You eat those foods. The chlorophyll is like a fertilizer for growing those bugs. The bugs on those gut are inoculating your gut with the right bugs for the right season, which is really important. And you're getting a clean, brand new stable of microbes for the spring, for the whole year. And then after that come the berries and the cherries and those sort of more leafy greens, which are all lymphatic movers. And that's sort of the 1-2-3 punch nature provides for us to clean things out in the springtime, which is really, really important. Your bile is involved in so many important factors like cleaning out your liver, scrubbing your intestinal villi, buffering the acid from your stomach. So your stomach makes acid to be able to cook wheat and dairy, nuts, seeds, grains, legumes. All the hard to digest proteins require strong acid. And the bile buffers that acid. So if your liver is congested, which is very common because a lot of the bad, highly processed fats, we don't have the bile to buffer the acid. So eventually your stomach either holds on to the acid to give you heartburn, or the body stops making the acid and you get food intolerances, which is problematic because your digestion is linked to your ability to detoxify the environmental pollutants, the mercury from the coal mine plumes. There's 70 million tons of toxic chemicals dumped in our atmosphere every year that's filtered on all the food, water, and things you eat and drink. And you can't get rid of all of them. So it's really important to have good, strong digestion. And nature set it up this way to make sure that it happened with its 1-2-3 punch every spring, which is really, really, I think, really important. So the Kapha diet in the spring also. It's a really no-starch time of the year. So what would you do? Well, you might want to lose the bread this time of the year. I know I wrote a book called Eat Wheat, but I didn't mean to eat wheat every day of your life. It's a seasonal grain. I talk about that in the book. Spring is not the time for bread. You know, it's a time for, like I said, bitter, astringent, and pungent foods, which are more salads and more leafy greens and more berries and things like that, and more of those root vegetables and those kind of bitter, astringent teas to help scrub and clean the kapha, the heaviness, the mucus off the intestinal tract. Really, really important. So try to go, starch, really dial down your starch. Some tubers, some sweet potatoes and things like that. That's fine. You can have some starch, but just really dial it down. Think about eating less. And of course, we publish a free 3-season eating guide which is where we actually publish recipes and grocery lists and superfoods for every month of the year for free. It's called the 3-Season Diet Eating Guide. Just download it for free. Get it every month in your inbox, so you know exactly what you should be eating, what recipes are good for March, April, May, June, and the whole thing. It's really a great idea. One of my favorite herbs for this time of the year to scrub the kapha out of the body is called Google. It's in the frankincense family, and it's a resin that's harvested or tapped from the tree from November into May. So it's really a winter balancing and a spring balancing herb. And the research on it is quite effective. We've known it for years as really great for your thyroid, helps detoxify the thyroid by increasing superoxide dismutase and catalase. It actually helps to protect the body's iodine reserves and support healthy iodine levels for the thyroid, which is really important. It increases it actually activates what's called the bile salt exporter pump, which means it helps flow more bile out of your system. And because of the bad oils we eat, we have a lot of bile sludge. And that bile sludge is really problematic, which is why I wrote an ebook called the Safe Liver Cleansing ebook, which is free and important for people to know how to clean out their liver, which is really important. The Google will also help to detoxify cholesterol levels. It'll help break down cholesterol for you. It actually blocks the receptors it blocks certain receptors that allow and support healthy bile flow. So in other words, there's a feedback loop between your stomach making acid and your ability to make bile. All that has to work properly. Your stomach makes acid, your liver makes bile, pancreas and want to make enzymes. That is like the trifecta. If those three aren't coordinated, you're gonna let undigested proteins and fats go into your small intestine. They will be too big to get into your blood. They will uptake into the lymph around your belly, which is the garbage can, and they will create a host of lymphatic-related health concerns, which is not really good. The Google will increase microcirculation, so it's been found to be really good for heart health. And one study showed that it actually reduced kapha significantly in just 15 days of taking the Google. It actually did that by decreasing the appetite significantly, which you sort of want in the kapha season because that's when people fasted during traditional times. People still do. Lent, Ramadan, Passover, all this is springtime fast. Why? Because there's generally no food in the spring. It's really hard to get nutrition. It was traditionally a really risky survival time for humans. And this is a time where the body starts flipping into fat burning of its own fat reserve fuel. We go into ketogenesis by burning our own fat, not necessarily by eating 80% fat in our diet, although you can add more fat in your diet this time of the year, but it's really about no starch. That's the real key this time of the year. Studies also show it decreases the Google, particularly, we have a product called Google Lean, which I love. It also supports and decreases the hunger hormone. So you're not hungry in the spring, which is great. So you can eat more spinach salads and just get away with that. And it stabilizes healthy levels of sugar, blood sugar, your serotonin, and your dopamine, which is kind of really cool. And supports healthy levels of your blood lipids like your triglycerides as well. So there you have it. It's springtime, it's liver cleansing time, and that's exactly what nature is trying to have happen. And the Google is one of the herbs you may want to have on your list for this time of the year to kind of maximize that benefit. All right, thanks for listening. See you next week. I'm Dr. John Douillard.